waits for it. He's got it. William Carey is back to the NAIA World Series. They win it 11-4. William Carey finishes the regular season 15-3, winning it here at home 78-70. The Crusaders are conference champions.
Welcome back to Behind the Shield, your inside look into William Carey Athletics. I'm your host, Ben Smith. This week, we've got Jessica Garriga, head women's basketball coach, new head women's basketball coach on the show with us. Coach Garriga, thank you for joining us. First season as a head coach. You spent 9 years as an assistant. You were the 2025 NAIA Assistant Coach of the Year, coming off of a 25-0 regular season last year with the Lady Crusaders. And not only that, guys, Jessica wears a lot of hats in this department, and not only this department, but in our conference. She's also an assistant athletic director. She's a senior women's leader, and she's the senior women's leader for the Southern States Athletic Conference. So how do you find time to do anything outside of William Carey?
And math professor.
Math professor as well?
Yeah. So lots of hats. Thankfully, I've been doing it for a while, so even as an assistant, that role, been able to put a lot of the classes online. That gives me a little bit of flexibility in the schedule, but just be very intentional about the way I spend my time.
I'm glad you just mentioned intentional. And I know I've got all these questions for you, but before we do, of all the people that I know in our department, when we talk about being intentional, you're probably the most intentional person that I know in the department. It's kind of like, and we kind of joke at you about it, because you got this tunnel vision, right? But you are very intentional with what you do, which is what allows you to do so many things and be as good at it as you are. So thank you for joining us this week. Being a long-time assistant coach under Coach English for 9 years, and all the things that we went through in the program there, you've transitioned into being a head coach. How's that worked out?
So there's been some challenges. There's some things that just kind of flowed in terms of the players are pretty familiar with me, that type thing. It's been a little bit different for them because, I've been like the mother figure. I'm always the supportive, the positive, I'm a glass half full kind of girl. And I think it's kind of shocked them a couple of times whenever, I just lit into them one day.
Snap.
Yeah, and they were like,
who is this person?
Whoa,
right.
Like that, we don't normally see that side of her. So I think it's been different in terms of discipline and accountability, being the one that holds that line there. So for them, that's been a transition. For me, I would say, just like you said, being intentional is a strong suit for me. It's also, in some cases, can be my weakness. And I found that to be the most challenging in terms of zooming out as a head coach.
Right.
So as an assistant coach, I really got to lock in. I was very focused, and Tracy can tell you that. But as a head coach, I'm finding myself challenging myself to zoom out to see bigger picture and leave a little bit more of the finer details to the assistants. And I do that so naturally that it's taken a conscious effort. So I'd say that's been a tough transition.
Do you have trouble delegating?
I do, but it's better. The more you allow yourself to
Right.
delegate and people are, do a good job, then it's easier. But it's just you have to think about it at first. You have to think to not, did I call the meals in? Did I get the hotels? Right. And it's just because as an assistant, all the tasks that you've done. So it's just a matter of that transition phase, I think.
Right. So out of all the things that you're having to do different, what do you think is the biggest challenge so far? Has been, and I know we haven't even gotten into the season yet. I mean, it's only middle of October, and there's going to be a lot of things coming down the road that will be challenging, I'm sure. But at this point so far, what's been the biggest challenge?
For sure, scheduling. And we've talked about this before, just in terms of we have 2 nursing students. We're kind of working around their schedule. We have 2 that are in education that are doing residency too. And these are, for the most part, starters are kids that play big minutes. And we have all of our kids, a lot of them are high performing in academics, and we're just trying to find the schedule that fits. So they have us way early some mornings, late, that's been tough to navigate, but I think the team's responded well, and we're all just doing what it takes.
All right. You mentioned starters and players that play a lot of minutes. One of the things that I think is going to be challenging for the U and for the team as a whole this year is you lost some starters from last year that played a lot of minutes. You're talking about Rose Warren, Colton Blakeney. Those are the 2 that come to mind immediately. so far, and like I said, I know we're just getting into the season, but coming off of a 25-0 regular season last year, great run, SSAC championship, lose those two players, who's stepped up so far to kind of fill those roles? Because I know it's and that's the thing in college athletics is every year is different people because you're losing different people. So you have to kind of have that next person up mentality. Who's filled those roles?
Yeah, that's a big challenge with those two first-team all-conference kids. But we did have returning starters, so Chanel Corpus is, and I always say there's no better way than Chanel does Chanel things. And even at the scrimmage last night, they say, oh, that Corpus kid. And I'm like, yeah. And then Leah and Jen are returning starters, and they've kind of stepped up, and they'll probably have a little bit more active role in terms of the things that they're able to bring to the game. And then, of course, Maddie, who was a sixth man last year for us, and in my opinion, she was Sixth Woman of the Year.
Right, we talked about that.
She comes in easily, but she, as a senior, she's coming in the starting lineup. She fills that gap in a lot of ways. And then Addie Shearer, as a young point guard, she didn't get a ton of minutes under Rose, but when she did, she was super effective. A lot of those kids, so it's not going to come just from one person. But we have a group of people. And then we also have some kids that will come off the bench that will help us contribute that we've had. I think we have a little bit of depth. It's kind of young because we played 8, 9 deep last year, and some of those freshmen, sophomore didn't get a lot of minutes, but we'll have to use some of that. So.
Well, you mentioned Addie Shearer last year. You said, not a lot of minutes compared to some of the other girls on the roster, but some of the minutes she played were very meaningful. I think back to that Loyola game. She comes in as a spark plug on the road at Loyola to help finish off the undefeated season. Without her in that game, we may not win that game. So those are valuable minutes that she played where she got some really good experience, I think.
You're exactly right about that. I mean, I have a ton of confidence in Addie. She has a skill set. She has a great mind for the game. She's just playing behind Rose, who's a Division I transfer. And when I say that's a tough kid, Rose brought a toughness to us. That we'll also miss a piece of that, but Addie steps right into that role pretty fluidly, and pretty excited about that. So I
think the other thing is with all the girls that you've got returning this year, like they know the standard, so there's an expectation there, and they know the quality of play in the league and how they have to play for us to continue to be successful. So I think that's a good thing you got going for you this year as well. And speaking of success. Year one for you, head coach for your first season, and the bar is set high for you, but you helped set the bar there. It's not like you came from somewhere else. You played here, you coached here, you understand, you built the program. What does success look like in year one for you as a head coach outside of wins and losses?
Outside of wins and losses, I know we talked about this a little bit last night, like culture is always big for us, and having a we over me. Just keeping these kids locked in to know that our program is bigger than us. It's bigger than just the individual. And just being able to day in, day out, put a product on the court that our university, that our community, that our fans, that our parents are just proud to watch play. It may not chalk up to a win or loss, but when they come to the game, it's like, man, I'm behind that group because they play hard, they give it everything they got, and I'm here to represent,
And I think you said something there that I really appreciate too, is it's something that's fun to watch. You want to watch it. Last year, and I know we were winning, but you guys were a lot of fun to watch last year. It was high octane, it was high energy, and it was like, it wasn't just like backyard basketball, as you call it. Like the girls ran plays, it was structured, but they were really good, and that was fun to watch. So looking forward to some more of that this year. Let's be, I tell you what, I'm going to go off script for a second before we get to the last question. And I don't know, and don't get emotional on me on this one. You get to coach your daughter this year.
I do.
As a head coach, and I know you've been the assistant and she played for you guys. Just real quick, how does that feel, getting to be the head coach and coach your daughter?
It's pretty exciting. I'd say as an assistant, I got to have a high because we came in and for the first time with her, we got to win 2 back-to-back championships. As a head coach, there's a little bit of pressure because it's like, when do you turn off mom and when do you turn off coach? And like every now and then, that's kind of hard to do,
Yeah.
When you're between the lines, it's pretty easy, but then it's like after, when do we choose to not talk basketball? And I ask her about, how's your classes? how's your day, or how's that? But that's a little bit different. It takes another level of being intentional in the sense of that. But it's challenging, but it's definitely been rewarding.
So I don't know how I'd be able to turn that off. You know, I don't know how I'd be able to navigate that and be coach for a minute, or dad for a minute, you know, or in your case, mom for a minute. So good luck with that.
Yeah.
All right, something fun about you. What, if any, are some of your pregame routines or superstitions?
Tracy, I actually picked up some secondhand superstitions from Tracy, but I wouldn't say that I'm
Is it awards on game day?
He still goes awards for me, so hey, he's got me there. He's a solid. But like sometimes I remember seeing a penny on the floor, and I'll be like, penny on heads. Like, if I don't pick that up, Tracy's gonna be mad at me.
Right.
But you know, really, I don't see myself as very superstitious. My go-to is I'm definitely a prayer, and like take a few minutes with the Lord, just like calm myself, remind myself whose I am and my purpose and and the things that I do. So I wouldn't say that, but I know you're looking for something kind of fun. So I would say something this is easy. Everybody always wants to make cracks at me about, I'm a foodie. I love food. I'll be, you know, the first in line. They try to take jabs at me for that. So here's a little quirky thing. Whether it be a bad game and a tough loss, when we're going to go eat, even if I'm trying to eat healthy, I'm going to be like, justifying that cheeseburger. I'll be like, man, I'm going for that double cheeseburger because that was just terrible. Like, I need something. Or we win a championship, and I'm saying, I want that Coke. I want that. So, like, I'm going to I try to tell myself, like, eat better, do, you know, clean, make good decisions, but I am going to justify one or the other and work my way back to that.
It's funny you mention that, because I can remember, like, when I first started coaching, and we'd go on a road trip, and we'd play bad. It was like, well, we're not going to eat good because we played bad. It was like we're punishing the team. So several years in, Coach Alford and I kind of looked at each other one day and we're like, why do we keep punishing ourselves?
I know.
It's like, you play good, we're going to eat a good meal. But if we play bad, we're going to eat a good meal so we get something good out of this trip.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what it kind of got to.
Justify the means.
Right. So I get that. Thank you for joining us this week. Crusader fans, believe it or not, basketball season starts this week. Unbelievable to me. I can't even believe we're already at this point in the year. Lady Crusaders travel to Montgomery this weekend to play in the Faulkner Classic. Tip-off at 1 o'clock on Friday as they face off with Ave Maria University. You can follow the action on the Cary Sports app or at CaryAthletics.com. And while you're on CaryAthletics.com, go ahead and join the Crusader Club and become a member. You'll get to win some cool prizes and support the Crusaders along the way. And until next time, armor up.